In this video, I'm going to share with you, someone asked me the question, how do I stop being average? And the answer is actually very simple, but the problem is most people miss it. And here's the answer to the question, how do I stop being average? The answer is in the same way as the question, how do I become extraordinary? And the answer lies in the word itself, extra. Just do a little bit more. Do a little bit more extra. In I've been in the adult industry for a while now, and it just takes just a little bit for any man or any lover or any top or any dominant to be a better lover. It just takes a little bit extra because average is so horrific when it comes to making love or romance or any of those sorts of relationships. Average is so horrific that if you're just a little bit, you'll be above average. You'll be in the top 10% in the world. And it sounds crazy. So, how do you become how do you not become average like the rest of the world? Do a little bit extra. Do a little bit more. Find out, become more valuable. Raj Rabinder, hey, how's it going? So, here's what you do. Let's become a little bit more practical and um, Raj going good. So, how do you become more practical about this? Look at all your endeavors in your life, whatever, whichever it is, and maybe all of it. Your career, your relationships, your hobbies. Find out what skills you need to become more valuable in that particular area. What makes you more valuable in that particular area? I'll give you some four examples. If you take a look at your career, look at the average person working at that job. What's going to make you more valuable in that job? What's the prized value in that job? So, just do a little bit extra and find out what makes you more valuable and work every day to become better at that. Let's look at your hobby, whatever your hobby is. For example, if it's health and fitness, what's going to make you more valuable? Knowledge will make you more valuable. Knowledge, experience, and skill. Everything is a skill, is a learnable skill. You know what I say about talent? Fuck talent. Raj says you gotta find out your strengths. You know, the truth about that, Raj, is that yes, it's true. It's true that if you better your strengths, if you better your best, you're gonna become very efficient, tremendously efficient. But I will say this, some people have weaknesses that you can strengthen. For example, for me, I'll give you an example. I got into sales, and sales was one of the greatest skills you could ever learn, is the greatest skill you could ever learn. But I was not a sales guy. I was a very, I began before I got into sales. I was not a social person. I was not very sociable, and I was not a good talker or anything like that. When I got into sales, I I found out, uh, according to this topic, I found out what skills are important to get better at sales, and then I worked at it. One of those skills is being social and learning how to speak and influence people. Sales is merely influence, nothing more, nothing less. So being sociable, and speaking and selling and influencing was not a strong suit for me. It was one of my greatest weaknesses, which I strengthened. So what I say about going back to the topic at hand, what I say about talent, fuck talent, work on your skills. Everything is a skill that can be learnable. So let's go to, for example, relationships. How could you become above average when it comes to relationships? You take a look at the average person. You take a look at relationships. You take a look at your lover, whether it's a man or a woman. What makes you more valuable to that person? Is it the skill, lovemaking, romance? But how are you going to find out? Raj says we got to be content with what we have. Sure. Yeah, that's part of enlightenment, Raj. Part of enlightenment is being self-appreciative. I just made a post about this. Being part of enlightenment is appreciating yourself, self-appreciation. You appreciate yourself for what you have, but then to be, you could be tremendously, you could be average and still be completely happy, satisfied, fulfilled, and confident and have high self-esteem. Being average, you don't need much to actually. All of that comes from you. Self-esteem, confidence. You can have a tremendous life being average. But the topic at hand is how to become above average. So you always begin with being self-happy, self-validated, and self-appreciating. When you always start from that, you live, you always win the game of life. But I digress. So how do you become above average in relationships? You take a look at what makes you more valuable to the person. How do you find out what makes you more valuable to the other person? Answer that. You find out what they want. You communicate with that person. And the more you find out what the person wants and desires, deeply desires, not just what they say, but what they actually mean, then you find out what will make you more valuable. The problem that most people have when it comes to relationships is that they don't know what the person wants, especially, particularly in sex. Raj asks, are you in the sales market? I used to be in sales. I used to manage an affiliate team from 60 countries. And I used to have, prior to that, I used to manage a sales team of over 3,000 people. So, yes, and I was a sales trainer for about 4 years. So, I'm going to close out this video. I don't want to make it too long. Let's recap. What makes you above average? What How can you stop being average? You become more valuable in your marketplace, become more valuable in your relationships. Raj says, it was nice hearing you. Thanks for paying attention, Raj. Appreciate it, brother. Keep broadcasting more. I will, man. Follow me on here. Become more valuable in your marketplace, become more valuable in your career, do a little bit more, stay a little bit longer, pay more attention, and focus more. Do a little bit more, and you'll become more and more average and increase your skills at whatever makes you more valuable. Increase your skills in bed, increase your skills in your market, increase your skills with your whatever society you're in, and increase your skills in your business, and you'll become above average. It doesn't take much. Thanks for paying attention. Bye bye.